Because that's a big thing over there, isn't it? I remember
Yeah,
me and my wife, we went to Iceland, and going to the public pools is the equivalent of us English going to the pub.
basically, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of a cultural thing. Everyone goes to the pool like
Yeah.
almost every day. And
It was really cool. It's really nice. We went to the big. There was a big one right on the in the Bay area there. There's like a big
oh,
pool.
nice.
It was
Yeah,
really nice. It was really
that's
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
but
I
nice.
only had known, I travelled around. I've travelled around some places and never trained anywhere when I lived in the country. But if only I'd have known that there was that training facility there, I would have gone down.
Oh, you didn't know?
I didn't know. No, I never do
Man,
any research, by the way. I just turn up. I don't
you
know how
missed
my wife would feel about me going off training when I'm.
it.
I'm amazed that you managed to travel anywhere. To be honest, and you have to. If Vix wasn't there to get you places, I don't believe you'd ever go anywhere.
No, that is too true.
I think like honestly, the most common people we have come into the gym is like somebody who's on holiday with their wives or their
Oh,
girlfriends.
really?
And you look at we have like big windows at our gym.
Yeah,
So it's
I've
that
seen
area, and then we have big ass windows, and there's the hallway outside, and you always see the wife or the girlfriend sitting there frowning, sightseeing, but here she is, watching her man train.
Yeah. Welcome everybody to another isolation edition of the CGA podcast. Here again with my man Nick Danes, and we've got a special guest on our podcast today. We've got all the way from Iceland, Halldor Logi. How are you, my friend?
Hey guys, thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm feeling good. Feeling frisky.
Awesome, man. Great.
Things are good.
Well, you two have got something. You and Sam have got something in common already. Sam is one of the kids instructors over our side as well, so he knows your pain.
The painful life of the kid instructors.
Yeah. It was a bit of a shock when I started probably teaching the kids about a year ago, and it was just a massive shock how far back you have to strip the instructions down. Like I thought when I did my first class, I went in there and I thought, I'm going to teach something super basic so that they all get it. And then I didn't realize that some kids don't know their left from their right, or if you ask them to put one foot somewhere, they don't know how to do it. And I was like, right, maybe just even shrimping is going to be quite difficult.
Yeah, it's a perfect balance you have to find, right?
Yeah.
It takes time and it takes experience. So what ages are you working with?
Between 4 and 11.
Yeah. It's a tricky age.
Yeah, it is. And it's quite, there's when they're that age as well. So the 4-year-olds are a lot different, obviously, from the 11-year-olds or even the 8-year-olds. So like you've got
even
to
the 5-year-olds.
find a balance between teaching the two. It's quite difficult. What age groups do you teach, Halldor?
So I work with kids from 4 to 18. Obviously, we split them up in different age groups.
Yeah.
So we got a group from 4 to 8, and we have 8 to 11, 12 to 15, and then 16 to 18.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, we even want to divide it even more, but at the moment, the timetable in the facility kind of doesn't allow it. But we want to split it into age groups of maybe max 3 years cap.
Yeah.
You see huge difference in the kids from 8 to 11, especially. It's like the size difference.
Size difference, like the way they are able to process and how they use their bodies and stuff is completely different as well.
Exactly. Even the 4 to 5-year-olds, like the difference between a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old can be huge.
Huge, yeah. I guess they're just growing.
I often look at my two are 7 and 5, and often look over and one of them's just looking like that, like not looking at all at what's happening, and the other one's just picking his nose, just like, like as long as they're there, like I just think they're there, and like they're wearing a gi and they're doing some physical stuff and rolling about, and like if they think it's fun, then that's good enough at the moment, I guess.
I think that should always be the goal. Just have fun.
Make it as fun as you can. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to when I first started teaching, I was a bit obsessed about trying to get them to engage with the class, like really try and get them engaged. And it used to stress me out so much trying to like keep them all together, keep them interested. And now I've realised that sometimes you just got to let them go.
Yeah.
They'll come back when they're ready.
I think it's that moment when they start like feeling comfortable with each other and with us. That's when they really start engaging and kind of coming out of their shell.
Yes, I think you're right.
That's our main focus, especially with the young ones. Just make it enjoyable, you know?
Yeah.
Make them be themselves, have fun, come to class, and reap the reward later.
Yeah. Otherwise, they're not interested, are they? They just want to
fall out after half a year, or they go somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly. Where else is there to go in Iceland? But me and Nick were discussing this just before you came on. How do you pronounce your gym? Because what did you think it was, Nick?
Mjolnir.
Oh, I'm gonna edit this out. Oh, it's Mjolnir. Mjolnir. Yeah, harsh. Kind of harsh.
Those R's are tough in Icelandic for us, for my tongue.
We do a lot of like harsh symbols, and then we combine words.
Yeah. Yeah.
And J makes Mjö.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So tell us so give us a little potted info on where you're at. You're obviously training and instructing in Mjolnir MMA. And so give us a bit of info on your current situation, Halldor.
So at the moment, obviously, there's no training, but before this all happened, I had a huge plan. So obviously, I teach full-time in Mjolnir. I have another job as well. I just added that on for now. I'm going to see where it takes me. But so I worked full-time in Mjolnir, teaching the kids and the adults. And then I try to compete as much as possible. And I had 4 title fights lined up in the UK. Before this whole situation happened, and like unfortunately,
was it Grapple Fest? Grapple Fest was it?
I had Samurai Grappling against Jackson Souza, and Grapple Kings. Then 2 more one in Scotland and one in England. Right. Battle Grapple was one of them.
Nice. Yeah.
And then unfortunately that all fell out. I know the match with Jackson has been just postponed. We've signed the terms, and that's going to happen. So
that'll be a great match.
Noki.
I'm really looking forward to the challenge. He's obviously someone that, like, I remember when I started, like, this is a funny story because when I accepted the match, I thought, holy shit, like, Jackson must be 40, 43 or something. So when I started training, Jackson was already a world champion.
Yeah.
So the distance for me was like, wow, he must be out of his prime. He must be getting slow. And then I repeated him. And the guy's only like 28.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to it. I've met Jackson a few times. He's invited me to his gym a couple of times. He's a super nice guy, and I think it's going to be an amazing challenge.
Yeah, I think so. I think it'd be a really good fight.
I met him at the English Open and took a photo of the back of his head.
Yeah. He was too nervous to ask him.
He'd go up and say, "Hey, Jackson, how you doing?" And he was very, very pleasant.
He strikes me as a really nice guy, and we talked a little bit after the whole match had been postponed, and we both agreed to make it happen. So.
Awesome! That's great.
Will that be like the highest profile match you've had so far? Do you think?
Maybe. Seeing that it's the main event, maybe, yeah. But Polaris was one for me as well. Yeah. That was probably the high peak of my jiu-jitsu journey so far.
So tell us about that. How was it competing on Polaris?
It was just an amazing experience, man. Unfortunately, like, I had an opponent in the first, which I've been prepping for 2 to 3 months. Couldn't wait for him, and then week before he fell out, which was kind of, I mean, it happens, but it's just that
frustrating.
Yeah, a little frustrating part. And then luckily Fred Washcron stepped in
Yeah.
I know Fred from previous Globetrotter camps. And
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
multiple times, and we're good friends, which made the whole situation kind of kind of weird.
Yeah.
Not in a weird way, because I live in Iceland and I compete against friends all the time, but it's just this high profile match, and obviously when you've grappled against someone so many times before, in your head you don't know how it's going to go.
Yeah.
So that made everything a little bit more weird.
Yes.
The weight gap was raised up, so I've been cutting weight for kind of no reason at all.
Did you find that hard because you've been cutting weight? Did you just carry on with, because you must have been dieting right down to get to a certain weight? So did you just throw it out the window and then just eat what you want, or did you kind of rein?
Not really, because I still had to. So the initial weight was 84 kilos, and I was coming down to 96. When Fred stepped in, we agreed to an 88 limit, so I still had to be careful.
Right, you still had to cut, yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, it was a.
Freddie's a big dude as well, though. What does Freddie walk around?
Freddie's huge, man. I don't know. At the moment, he looks ripped.
He looks like he's bulking at the moment.
Yeah, he was set to fight in the Polaris super fight openweight category. So at the moment, he's probably well over 100.
Yeah.
It was an amazing experience. I'm happy Fred stepped in. We had a great match. Lost on referee decision, which I'm not too frustrated about. It was just a good experience. Freddy's beat at the moment, so
yeah, it was a fun match to watch as well.
Savage, right? So he's very, very good on the leg attacks and stuff, and so
for sure.
You know what I mean. Obviously, you're very, very good. The Nogi side, Nogi's more your thing, isn't it, Halldor?
Yeah, I'm only focusing Nogi at the moment. I've kind of been thrown away from the gi a bit. I used to enjoy it a lot, but then competing in bigger sizes, I really hate the fact when I go against someone who's a bit stronger than me or bigger than me, then he just hold me down. I'd rather be able to kind of unleash my athletic abilities, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Full on scrap mode.
Yeah. Do you find it's better to compete no-gi, because that's kind of where it seems like the money's at with competition and things at the moment, just because I don't see, especially with people like Gordon Ryan and stuff, making big waves in the no-gi scene. It seems to be that's the more popular option for people to go down rather than no-gi. Do you find you get more opportunities for no-gi competitions than you do in the gi?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as you said, the bigger shows are kind of only focusing no-gi at the moment, mostly. I think it's the aspect of it being kind of raw and anyone can watch and enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if you want to watch a good gi match, you kind of have to know what's going on. You have to know your grips. You have to know what the guy is doing.
Yes.
And I've seen really enjoyable gi matches, but if I showed it to my mom, she wouldn't.
Yeah.
Two grown men in pajamas trying to grab each other. So
the only guy getting gi matches is Tommy.
Yeah, Tommy makes them really enjoyable. He was on the same Polaris card that I was on against yoga guy, BJJ yoga guy.
That's it.
Sebastian, yeah. And that match was just incredible.
It was great.
But that's kind of rare at the moment.
He puts. I think I've watched all of his Polaris matches, and his they're always fun to watch, because you know what he's going to do, but it's and so does his opponent, and whether they like it or not, he's most of the time he's going to get some of his positions off. I thought it was a super good match with Gilbert Burns when they fought, and because Gilbert's legit, but he does so much other stuff with his MMA and no-gi and things, and then just to hop into the gi for a match with him is just ridiculous, really. But that was super good. But there's not many gi matches. They used to have more, I think, on Polaris even, and now it's kind of very, very limited on the gi stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
I think Tommy he's so aggressive. He's always going on the gauge. He's always attacking something. He makes it live, You watch the IBJJF European gi or World gi or whatever. They're fighting for an advantage, and that's kind of sets me off, at least.
Yeah, yeah.
See, I want to attack. I want to submit. I want to engage.
That's
I
the
find
fun
it more
bit, isn't it?
Yeah, I find it kind of more limiting in the gi.
Yeah.
Because people can just hold on to your grips and you're unable to move.
Yeah.
They can stall out positions a lot more, can't they?
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah.
People winning titles by an advantage just doesn't seem like that's what it's about.
Yeah.
No, exactly. And it doesn't bring people to the sport either.
No, people go, "What's that? That looks really boring. No one anything." And how did that guy win then?
Yeah.
If you watch kind of a world championship in any sport, you're gonna enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
Even though you don't know the sport, it's you see top level athletes, you see a lot of excitement, you see action.
Yeah.
And I think the gi often, I'm not saying always, I like the gi still, but a lot of gi athletes take away all the action and kind of just make it like stale.
Slow it down, slow it down, and try and edge out the opposition. The margins are very close, aren't they? At the top level, though. Do you think that has something to do with it? There's less because you can reduce the amount of error. They're kind of less open to creating those opportunities, so that they don't put themselves in a position to make mistakes, so that they can just edge out the opponents. They get that win, because there's quite a lot. I mean, in the World Championships of Jiu Jitsu, there's quite a lot going on it. Like, there's quite a lot involved in it, isn't there? If you win the World Championships in Jiu Jitsu, you've got a load of opportunities open up for you, like elsewhere, then, don't you? You know,
yeah, for sure.
So maybe it's just tough, isn't it?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. But yeah.
I'd like to see more gi stuff that, like, I just don't know how I don't know what, because of the restrictions, like you're saying, people can keep you in a position with using grips. It doesn't really matter what rule set you put on the gi, people can manipulate it because you can always stall.
Yeah.
You know, so it's hard. But I went to your class, your seminar in the Zen camp a couple of years ago, and you were doing lapel guard.
Yeah, that's the only guard I play when I play the gi. I enjoy it. I mean, I really enjoy going to training and just manipulating people with the gi. But it's more when it comes to competition. I don't like to be manipulated or held down or restricted.
Do you think that comes from you just wanting to have exciting fights? Like, it's not about the winning or the losing. It's more about like the entertainment aspect of it.
For sure. And it's every time I go and compete, I don't care if I get submitted or I submit or whatever happens, I just want to go out and scrap.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when did you start training jiu-jitsu?
Back in 2010, a small town in Iceland called Akureyri. Wasn't a lot of opportunities there. Like, jiu-jitsu wasn't really a thing, unless you were in the capital, of course. Yeah. They had Mjolnir started way before, but my instructor was just he was a judo guy who's done a little bit of boxing, and then I went to America and trained a little bit with Brandon Vera.
Oh, nice.
And Brandon taught him a little bit of jiu-jitsu. He took it back home, and then we were just kind of experience, like, we're just doing something.
Yeah, making it up as you go along.
Yeah, it was a weird vibe. It was kind of like if you watch Never Back Down or something. It was kind of the vibe. Throw on small gloves and a gi for some reason, and then just try to submit or punch out the other guy. It was a weird training mentality.
Yeah.
Did you start like competing kind of straight away in anything, like, or did you wait till you started training full on jiu-jitsu and start getting graded and blue belt, purple belt days? Or
my first competition was actually white belt. I did the Icelandic nationals, and I've been training for 2 months. And I went to the Icelandic nationals, and the way we do it here is because we don't. At the time, we didn't have a lot of people or different belts or whatever, so there's no belt categories, so there's just
right.
First match I've been training for 2 months. It was against Thrauen, who was the current head instructor of Mjolnir. Gold belt, and he was like, he'd been doing ADCC, and he's really good. And I lost that match in, I think, 13 seconds. So that was a good humbling experience.
You've done well to last 13 seconds with 2 months training.
Yeah, my goal kind of over the years became like last longer and longer against him. I always met him. There's not a lot of people to meet, and I always fought against Throwen, and then my goal was always like getting further and further and further.
That's crazy though. Like, say to anyone, okay, you've been training 2 months, you're going to fight this guy. He's fought in ADCC trials, ADCC. Off you go. Good luck.
Yep, that was the vibe. And then, because there's not a lot of like competitions inside the country, and then I had to start traveling and getting more experience. And that's when I met Christian from the Globetrotters. I went to the Danish Open in 2012. That was my first competition abroad.
Nice.
And I met Christian, and he was telling me about the camps, and then I kind of got hooked on the idea.
Awesome.
Was that when, were you like 16 at that point, or?
Yeah, I think I'm 2012. I'm about 16.
So I remember at the Zen camp the other year. I think you that was like your 10th camp or something, or your some sort of anniversary or something for you at that one. And Christian was like, "Oh yeah. He came along at age 16, like white belt, 16 years old, first camp, and now he's a black belt instructor on this camp." You know, like it's like you've obviously done a huge amount, but you got good pretty quickly.
Mm.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I have to kind of, back when I was like 16, I decided I wanted to go full on into jiu-jitsu, and I quit school. Mom wasn't happy.
I'm sure she wasn't.
No, she wasn't.
Just want to go and fight.
I'm pajama fighting, Mom.
Yeah, you know it.
I got a job, and I kind of used all the money I could get to kind of get out of the country and train and gain more experience and meet more people. And because the information in my small town was really, really limited. Just had Thor, who was a judo guy, and well, he's now BJJ black belt as well, and I owe a lot to him. But at the same time, the information was really, really limited.
Yeah,
I think most of my game and my knowledge of jiu-jitsu comes from these camps, just things that I picked off people, and I've never been one to kind of observe and learn. I'd rather take a small piece and then make it mine, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think that's how you've got to look at training, isn't it? Because no one moves or does anything.
Exactly.
No two people does anything the same way. So
exactly.
So you've got to pick those little bits, haven't you? You've got to pick those little bits and insert it into your own game.
Yeah.
And try and make it work for yourself.
Exactly. My kind of main game at the moment, a lot of it comes from back in 2012 when I started training in the Globetrotter camps, and Ollie Geddes was the guest instructor. And Ollie is, obviously for those who know him, is a small dude, and I'm pretty large. So me trying to implement what he was teaching and copy it wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of details in what he was saying and doing that I was able to take and experiment with and kind of make my own. Yeah. So and then I just kept at it and started traveling more. I traveled for 5 months at the age of 17 to America, did 4 months in the UK, just training like 5 times a day.
Amazing.
Used to sleep in a gym back in my hometown and just like go full on for it. So I think that's the main reason why I kind of developed pretty quickly. I just stayed in the gym, trained and trained.
Dedication.
Then, just spar and train with different bodies and different people and pick off if something's not working, fix it.
Yeah.
So,
Have you got a kind of a more regimented training routine now than that you'll do at your home gym? Do you know what I mean? Do you like say like this doing that, this day I'm doing that, or is it just still the kind of the same thing?
Not at all. I'm just so raw. Like we have a guy in my gym. He's called Valentin. He's he's amazing, man. He watches a lot of clips and he studies and he writes down and he drills and he takes care of our competition team and he wants us to do this and this, and I cannot do it. I just want to go to class and I want to scrap and I want to get put in this like uncomfortable positions and then find my way out. I've never been able to watch videos or put my training into like groups and focus on it. It would just make it boring for me.
Yeah. I feel very much the same. Like you study and break it down by watching it too much, and it's not as exciting, is it, as actually doing it yourself and trying to figure it out for yourself. I think I'm a bit more of a learner like that as well. I get that.
I think the main reason as well for why I've stick to it for so long and been able to like, I do like classes 2 times a day, every day since like for 10 years, is because I still enjoy it. And I think if I would take the excitement out of it and start like putting the pressure on having to become better and I have to do this and this, it would become like school to me.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's when I think I would felt like stop training fully.
Well, obviously, you dropped out of school just to do jiu-jitsu. You don't want to go back to school.
I don't want to go back to jiu-jitsu school now.
Yeah.
I've never been able to do that. I just want to train, if that makes sense, and then
So the Globetrotter camps, like we've spoken about these a few times with different guests as well, and like I've been to a couple myself, and I always sort of speak highly of it because you get an incredible amount of high quality instructors turning up, but coupled with the participants of the camp, but the instruction's always like second. When I went to Copenhagen and Alexander Trans was there, and all these guys, and you're just like, oh wow, like he knows some stuff. Like I'm going to listen to what he says, and you get a very condensed like hour or 2 hours of someone's time, and then they'll stick around, they'll roll, they'll do all sorts of stuff. So you can like I can see for the way you like go about your training and learning that would be really, really progressive by doing those kind of weeks.
Yeah. I think that's kind of the main reason why I enjoy those. I don't do the classes anymore, or I just want to stick around, maybe watch it, and then I'll go on the mats and kind of get more bodies and train. It's the main reason for why I enjoy them, at least.
Yeah.
Lurking on the side, like looking,
sleeping maybe. I think the rule was implanted, like the new rule that Christian put on, you cannot sleep on the sides when somebody's teaching a class. I think I might be the reason for that. Just in the gym the whole day, sleeping on the mats when there's class, and then I'll train and go back to sleep.
I remember I was watching you roll with Danimal Reed, Danimal Jiu Jitsu. Shout out Dan. And that was a pretty intense no-gi rounds with Dan.
Yeah, I think Dan wanted to put me in his place, like, because I met Dan when I was 16 and he was just schooling me around, So I think he wanted to show who's the big dog.
How have you found that the Globetrotter camps have changed then over the past? If you've been going for 10 years, how have they changed as they progressed? Have they got bigger and more interesting?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, they've become like bigger and better.
Yeah,
that's a positive. But at the same time, it's when things become bigger, they kind of, they lose a little bit of the character. I'm not saying they have. I really enjoy them, but I remember when I was going to the first camps, it was always the same group of people showing up, and it was like a community. Obviously, it's still a community, but it's a bigger one.
Yes, it's hard to keep those smaller groups together, isn't it? It's hard. Like the more people are in like a club. I mean, it's the same. It's kind of happened in our jiu-jitsu club as well, in our local one. And like the more people that come in and the more people that train, you get sort of splinter groups off, don't you? It's not that just one community anymore. You've got different groups of different people that all come together. So is it a bit like that?
Yeah, I would say obviously they do multiple camps a year now, There used to be just one in Copenhagen every year, and all of us would show up to that and I'd meet the same people year to year.
Mm-hmm.
So this is obviously really positive. It means the community is growing.
Yeah.
And every time I go now, I'm meeting new people, which is really good. And at the same time,
you miss your friends.
Yeah, I just you kind of want to be put in that bubble, but it's really good. Obviously the camps are growing, they're getting bigger, better. Like Christian's doing an amazing job.
Yeah.
He's got a huge team behind it, but like it just used to be kind of more closed off, more like a group of family
yeah. It's funny when things change like that, like, you know, it's like something really great, and then other people are like, oh, that looks good, I want to be, you know, and it grows and it gets better, and you kind of want that to happen, but you miss the kind of what it was, and it's changed as it goes on, which anything that's like really good always ends up.
Obviously it's fantastic, man. It's so good to see the community grow and jiu-jitsu is growing, and I wouldn't be here if it hadn't, right? We wouldn't have met in Zen Camp, and I met so many like amazing people. So I think it's great. I think that's the biggest one, is meeting new people.
It is like that. Really good.
I keep hearing about this Zen Camp and how good the facility was.
It was amazing.
How does that compare to your facility down in Iceland? Down in Iceland.
Either of you been there or?
No, I've been to Iceland, but like I said to you before this started, I didn't even know it existed.
I
can't.
I think I'm not lying when I say that we have like under one roof we have the biggest facility in the world at the moment. So we get spoiled, and it's kind of that feeling, you know, when you look out the window and there's beautiful scenery every day, you kind of it becomes less exciting, right?
Yeah.
In Iceland, the environment doesn't excite me anymore because it's always the same. I think it's the same with the gym. You kind of, until you go somewhere else, you realize how amazing our gym is.
Yeah.
Most beautiful place in like jiu-jitsu world in the world, I think.
It's unreal. It's like built into a cave, isn't it? It's got like
it's built into a rock. So the strength and conditioning is built in a mountain. So there's no wall on one side. There's just a mountain, and it's all real, and you can touch it. Real rocks, and water drips out of it sometimes, and it's super cool. So we get kind of spoiled. But obviously the Zen Camp environment was, it was just beautiful. Different kind of vibe, if that makes sense. More like you felt like you were in Japan, but you were still somewhere in Poland.
Somewhere, who knows where we were really in Poland? I mean, it's like in the middle of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like the oddest place to stick this facility.
So weird. Must be some kind of like money laundering or anything.
That's what I asked.
Are
you sure this is like nothing else here, and there's just this unbelievable like compound?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's buildings after buildings. Like, what, it could house up to like 500 people or
something ridiculous.
All like in the middle of nowhere in Poland. And I can't imagine who uses it other than globetrotters.
It was like super modern as well. Everything was, you know, there was a man-made lake down by the sauna, like its own sauna house thing, and swimming pool and lake, and you know, it's just like, what is this place?
That is awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. I'm gonna try and get Sam to come to one of these.
I'm doing it now. Nick has sold it to me. Especially the Zen Camp place. I'm super.
I think like top 3 would be Zen Camp, Iceland, and then I'd really recommend going to the Caribbean as well. That one was amazing.
Yeah.
What's that?
So there's something to be said for having like the settings of these places being like that, because there's only, you know, when you look at the timetables for the camps, you can literally, I mean, what I tried to do is go, right, I want to go to that, I want to go to that, I want to go to this, because you've got so many big names that you want to learn stuff off you, but you can't do it all just physically. you know, and then
unless you just sleep on the sides.
Yeah.
This is it because I wanted to get like a good chunk of sparring in as well. So you can't do like the huge open mat at lunchtime and in the evening if you're going to do everything in between, because you just get mentally fatigued as well for doing. It's not necessarily that you can't do it. It's just that you can't take in that. I can't take in all that information. So I'm like you. Some of the classes I just went and watched, because it's okay from the side kind of watching and just saying, oh, okay, I like that grip on there. I could use that in somewhere else. And just trying to pick out bits, like you say, and then just trying different people to spar with, and seeing what happens, and then go and try and spar with like one of you guys, one of the higher grades as well, and then I'm going, oh, okay, right, no, I'm getting killed. But it's quite fun to have those experiences as well as the all round, because you can pick and choose like who you go with and whatnot, or someone comes up, do you want to roll? Yep, and see what happens. But it's I loved it as well. I really liked it, and the fact that there's food like 3 times a day, proper lots of food, and you need to eat, and if good food, that's got to be a winner.
That's how Halldor got so big.
Just
Well, he ate a whole pizza on that camp. I think he got presented with a very large pizza.
Yeah, it's the 10th camp pizza. Everyone who does 10 gets a free pizza. I slaughtered that pizza.
Slaughtered that pizza, yeah. So I want to talk more about your competing, because I know that you won nationals at brown belt, was it?
Won the Icelandic nationals, or I won that now 4 times at the highest level every time. So, and Nogi nationals I won 4 times as well.
Amazing.
So you gotta be traveling like the UK, other places for more competition, basically.
Yeah, Dublin has been probably my main area of traveling to for the past 2 years at least.
Yeah,
I think there's no Icelander who's been to Dublin more often. I can't imagine. I went like 15 times to Ireland last year and the year before. And UK, obviously, I go to America as well, but it's a little tougher to travel there. And then I do obviously the Nordic countries, the Scandinavia countries. Yeah. And I did Poland. I did the trials and Polish Open and one FC, what was it called? ABC?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was a cool one. ACB. Yeah. They paid a lot of money, so I wanted to go there.
Yeah. How do you manage it with all the traveling that you do and the training? Because obviously it's got to be quite tiring traveling around all the time. How do you manage that? Do you travel early and chill out, or train, or how do you manage it? Do you find yourself tired?
So when I'm training, like unfortunately, like the only flights that go out of the country are in the middle of the night. So I'll just fly. I'll try to get some sleep. And if I'm going to train, for example, to Hensel, so I've been to Hensel a few times just to train. I'll just go straight from the airport to training, and I'll just suffer. Just eat a high-calorie meal and then try to go to sleep, and then I'll go back to training because I don't want to waste any time.
Yeah.
And when I get home, I'll get my rest and kind of reset.
Yeah.
When competing, I try to always travel at least 2 days before the competition, so you can get one day in between where we can just light spar or just move around, walk, whatever.
Try and shake off the cobwebs a little bit at the travel.
Yeah, and especially if I have to cut weight or be at a certain weight, I like to at least have 2 days to kind of figure out what's happening, because I get really, really bloated and I put on weight super easily.
So does Nick.
I have a huge issue with like going up and down in weight.
Yeah.
Pretty tough. So
how do you manage that? How do you manage that then? Do you kind of take care of what you eat? Do you track your calories and things like that?
No, I'm too lazy to do that. Know what things are kind of unhealthy for me and make me bloat and what are not. So if I have to stay kind of under a certain limit, I'll just be careful and won't eat a huge hamburger or whatever. I'll just
Yeah.
my chicken salad or
Yeah. Yeah.
just eat things that I'm used to eating. No dairy, never dairy. I get super bloated from dairy, so.
Right. Yeah. So just stay away from
You do go down quite a bit of weight for competitions, though, don't you? You'll take off over 10 kilos usually. But...
Yeah, I'll do 10 to 15 if I have to. I always say to the promoters, I'll do any weight. Like, obviously, I won't go to 66 or 77. But I'll fight up any weight, and I'll go down 10 to 15 if there's a opponent for me there.
You've got a broad range that you can where you can compete. So I guess that makes it easier to kind of match you up with guys.
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying now as I'm getting older and kind of, I guess, wiser. I'm trying to cut less, but I'll still go up anyway. I'm trying to stay at max, going down to like 88 now. I'm weighing in about 94, 5. So.
Do you find getting down to like 84 quite tough on the body?
Yeah, I used to do that a lot, and it kind of becomes tiring. And I become at the competition day. I'm not myself. I'm less energetic and feel weak.
Yeah,
I think feel weak.
Especially as you get a bit older, it gets harder and harder to strip that weight off. So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it must.
Sorry, mate. What's the so like? All the comps are cancelled at the moment. Hopefully there'll be something coming back before the end of the year. I guess there's, as everyone's saying, look, we're hoping it's going to happen, or is everyone clueless as to what's going on now, or do you get that information fed back to you from promoters and things?
No, nobody's really been in touch. I think everyone's just going through a harsh time, and I can understand that. Yeah. I think everyone's just kind of waiting for the green light to be able to kind of start planning something again.
Yeah.
But the only one that I know for sure is the Jackson Sousa match. That's just been put on hold. I've signed a 3-5 contract with them.
Yeah.
So
that's cool. That's good.
That's kind of it's something to like at least hang on to. And I know that I will be competing. It kind of puts me in. I want to go train and I want to get better and.
Yeah. How have you found your own training since the lockdown now? Have you managed to be able to, are you allowed to
No, we're not allowed to train. The gym's completely closed.
Right.
But luckily, like few friends have been just lifting weights and we haven't grappled at all.
Yeah.
Almost three months now.
Yeah.
But our strength and conditioning coach had a garage, which he got a lot of weights put in and we were allowed 4 at a time. So.
Oh, awesome.
I was able to do that. I have a few kettlebells and stuff at home.
That's not going to help keep the weight down.
No.
You're going to be like Bruce.
You've seen recent photos of Gunnar Nelson. He's become huge, man. He's never been this big. He's just been bulking. He's just been he bought a few like weightlifting bars and weights at his house, and he's just been doing Olympic weightlifting.
Has he?
And he looks like a beast now.
Does he?
Around the same weight for the first time in like ever.
He's going to be in the heavyweight division of the UFC.
Yeah, that's it.
I think he's just been going for the CrossFit Games.
Yeah.
You can see him there.
At least he's. I mean, I guess, are you doing any striking at all or anything like with a bag, just to get out get something out?
Not anymore. Like I used to when I was doing a little bit of MMA as well.
Mm-hmm.
But my MMA career was short and devastating, so I just decided to stop.
Did you compete then in MMA?
Yeah, I did 2 competitions.
Yeah.
Or 3 matches, 2 or 3 at least, and then I did the World Amateur Championship in Bahrain.
Okay, yeah.
Got knocked out, broken nose, and I just felt kind of I was becoming more and more stupid by every time I was receiving a punch. I decided I didn't want to go there.
Yeah.
It can't be good. It just can't be long term.
I got knocked out cold for in both my matches, and I woke up at a hospital.
Yeah.
In Bahrain. And I was just thinking this is not worth it.
No. Because do they restrict your flying as well? So you probably can't even go home if you've been knocked out recently.
Yeah, I could.
Oh, you could?
Yeah, there was no issues.
Oh, okay, that's all right then.
Just not allowed to train for like 3 months and.
Right. Yeah.
That might have been. I don't know. Do they hold the amateur MMA championship in Bahrain every year? Because we had Millie Hawken on the last one that went out podcast. So she won. She was in the England team, and she won. Or they won their amateurs. She's can't remember what weight she fights at, but it looked unbelievable. The setting and it was like a seriously
like a serious setting. Yeah.
I think I'm not quite sure, but I think it's been held in Bahrain for the last couple of years. I think the main reason is because the Prince of Bahrain, he hosts it.
Yeah,
so he runs it and brings in the people.
He's got the money to do what he wants.
So I think that's the main reason why why it's been held in Bahrain.
Yeah, it's pretty much like the ADCCs. It's just run by
the sheiks.
Prince, isn't it? Is it the Sikh or the Prince?
The sheik, and I think the one that holds the ADCC, I think he's like a huge sheik.
Yeah.
Speaking of ADCC, is that it? That's got to be on the agenda at some point. You done trials already?
Yeah, I did trials last year. I'm definitely going this year if it will be allowed.
Mm.
And I'll go again and again until I get my ticket.
Yeah. What do you think of the ADCC rule set in comparison to other competitions that you go in for?
I think it's a pretty decent rule set. Last year when I went, I wasn't too used to it. It was my first ADCC like rule set competition. So after a certain time, you're not allowed to pull guard, right? So I'm a big guard puller. Say that proudly. And I had a match against a tough guy from the UK, and we went to overtime, and it was still 0-0. And I shot for a double leg, and in that kind of double leg transaction, I shot. He sprawled, so I sat underneath him and tried to play my guard.
Yeah.
And I got punished for that. I got minus points, and I lost in that fashion. So I think when I get used to it, I'll probably like it a bit more. I like watching it, definitely. It makes things explosive. And
do you do a lot of wrestling, or has that experience kind of pushed you forward into doing more wrestling for Nogi?
I'm a bit ashamed to say that I haven't been focusing wrestling too much. I enjoy my guard and I enjoy guard playing.
Yeah.
I definitely have some aces up my sleeve. Time to time, we get a good wrestling coach coming in from Canada. His name's Matt Miller, and he trained with GSP and Wonder Boy. And when he comes, obviously, we try to make the best out of him and get some wrestling in. But like, there's no wrestling in Iceland, really.
No, it's very similar here. There's nothing, not really.
But there's a lot of judo. So judo, unfortunately, in the Nogi, not the best.
No, it's wrestling, really, isn't it? There's a lot of wrestling.
Wrestling is just it's the alpha.
Yeah.
But I try to start standing and shoot and see where it leads me. And it's becoming better.
Guard, so you like your guard, so you're going to end up on top, or you're going to be able to get into a clinch and guard position from there. But like the ADCC rule set, like you say, they're like going, no, we're not having it. We want people. You got to get on top if you're doing this, sort of thing. And you're like, all right. I that's the only thing I struggle with in terms of when you're looking at the dominance of the position from the bottom, as opposed to just being on top, basically being like, being penalised for going into a position you're more dominant in and able to attack from. That's the only thing I don't like about it, is that I don't think that you should get punished for as long as you're active and you're going into a position where you are going to be able to do something from, then I don't see a problem with that. If you're stalling, you should be just stood back up again.
Yeah, I completely agree. That's why I kind of like the Polaris rule set the most at the moment. It favors action from whatever position you're in.
Yeah.
No like penalizing, just rewarding if you're the one pushing the pace.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that. I enjoy a lot of matches.
Yeah, as long as you're pushing the pace, it doesn't matter if you're on top or the bottom.
No,
and you're
that's
being
right.
active and you're doing what you should be doing. Then I think that's how it should be. Rather than, I know it's a submission grappling, or submission wrestling tournament, rather not a jiu-jitsu tournament. But like I think that the jiu-jitsu comes into it a lot. So it'd be a more rounded competition if you don't exclude or you penalise that kind of stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to change.
It's hard, isn't it? It's like we've talked about the rule sets in competitions and stuff before, Nick, and it's just very difficult to get something right, isn't it? Because everyone's going to exploit whatever.
There's just no perfect. I don't think there's
perfect.
Like
people will always find a loophole, won't they?
Yeah, they're always going to find their way in to abuse the rules for sure.
Yeah. Like you said, it's like the stalling in the World Championships, isn't it? Like they'll kind of stall out and try and win by an advantage because it's the easiest way to get the best result. So
you see them doing it in the tournaments, like not the World Championships, just the local tournaments where they know it's 0-0, and then someone's like that tries a figure 4 grip and stuff, and they're like looking at I get an advantage for that. They just sitting back on a footlock or something, like, and they're never going to get it, but it's like 30 seconds to go, and then they get an advantage for it.
Yeah. That's weird.
What about when you're in the UK? Do you have a specific gym that you'll go and train at? Like, have you got good connections for stuff over here, or do you dot around different gyms?
I like to go kind of everywhere. At first, when I started, I did like I said, a 3 or 4 months trip around the UK. And this is one thing with the Globetrotters camps as well. Like, all my trips have been going to people that I've met at the camps.
Yeah.
So I always stayed for free, trained for free. It's just been nice. The first time I went, I just stayed at Hodger Gracie. And I try to go there every time I go to train with Hodger and the crew there.
Yeah.
Now more people have been welcoming and inviting me when I'm going over. So last time I went, I actually trained with the guy who I previously competed against in ADCC, Sam.
Nice.
And a really nice guy. Area has invited me there, and multiple people like Jackson Sousa. I just try to go anywhere I can. Hopefully, like it's in close vicinity of my hotel or Airbnb, and I'll just go and train and have fun, meet new people.
Exactly that. Like one of the best things about maybe the Globetrotter camps, because me and Nick have found it with this podcast, is just making connections and meeting new people, and those connections. We were saying, me and Nick want to go and do a little bit of a travel around and train in different gyms as well, and this is helping us make those connections. And when we do go traveling, we know someone who's there or may have met someone who trains there, and it just makes things
hearing you going, Halldor.
Yeah. Through that massive window in your
He's in there.
Just to fix the confusion, I meant to say Max Bickerton, who I competed against in ADCC. Shout out to Max. He's invited me over 2 times to come train.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Nice.
We had some tough ass training last time I was there. I went for a wedding, came in the day after, like kind of hungover. And we just scrapped for an hour and a half. I think because that match was just so close. I think we both wanted to show that
who could win.
Who could really win.
Yeah.
We had an all-out brawl.
Nice.
That was really fun.
What weight were you? What weight was the trials in? What were you fighting?
Mine is 88. And I'm gonna try to do 88 again.
Yeah. Is that where you're feeling most comfortable now?
Yeah, that's where I feel comfortable cutting down and still keeping my athletic kind of advantage.
Yeah.
I think if I go to 99, it's kind of too big of a gap.
Yeah.
Because usually if I eat clean, I'm 90, 91, 92.
Yeah.
So it's not a lot of that.
Much, yeah.
It's not a big jump. Yeah.
Weighed in just under 100 kilos myself today. So
you were really proud of that, weren't you? You're showing
nice big bulk coming in.
Well, I've got to get to 98 really to compete at under 100. in the gi, with the gi on as well, being about 100.
It's easy now that there's no Five Guys open, Nick, that you can get down, there, mate.
It's who would believe that I could get to this weight, this minimal weight,
Five Guys. That's.
I know.
First burger joint. Probably
some of the McDonald's have opened in the UK, right? And there are people queuing for an hour and a half to go drive through to get one of those McDonald's burgers.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
I mean, if you don't learn anything from not having this stuff for like 2-3 months, and then it's open, it's like, yeah, you've got to go and get McDonald's. I don't care about all this stuff. I've got to queue up to get my McDonald's. I mean, there's not much hope.
No. But it's that mentality, isn't it? It's like you take something away from someone that they can't have it, and then as soon as they go, "Oh, we're open again," people are like, "I have to have this." It's going to be like that in Jiu Jitsu, I reckon. I think we'll have an influx of new people when it finally comes back open again.
You reckon? I'm kind of interested to see how things go. Do you think people will? Do you think people would want to go to training immediately, or do you think a lot of people are going to be seeing how things go first? And
I think that's a good question. I genuinely don't know, actually. That's a good point. It depends on, I think we're here in England, we like a rule. And if someone tells us we can do something, we will. It's like
we'll pretty much follow whatever someone tells us to do. But like, I mean, I think we've been pretty crap over here in general. I don't know what the news says in other countries about us, but when we spoke to Kerry she's in Madrid, she was saying that, that over there, their lockdown meant you don't leave your house, basically, at all. And now they were going to do some exercise. You've got to take your ID because you can't be further than a mile away from your registered address on your ID. And if you are, it's a €600 fine on the spot. In the UK, now they've just said, oh yeah, now you can travel and exercise as much as you want, wherever you want. The roads are really busy. People are just going about their day normally. I mean, the public transport, they're all on there. It's like, oh, okay, train's running. I can get on it then with everyone else.
Yeah.
It's pretty weird to me how, I guess it's politics, isn't it? But like in Spain, they're kind of like, what is the UK doing? Like,
yeah,
that's not good enough. And over here, we're like, seems to be fine. So,
yeah,
I don't know. If they open gyms, I think people just go, oh, they've opened it, must be fine.
That's what
I think there'd be people who are like, I'm not sure, but I'd say the vast majority of people would just be like, they say it's okay, like we're just going to do it anyway. I think we're not particularly just do it, whatever.
I don't think that's going to be what happens here, but I'm interested to see. We plan to open in 10 days, roughly, and I think it's going to be slow at the start.
Yeah,
you can see people like we've never been on full lockdown, so nobody's been locked down in their house unless they're quarantined.
Do you think that's probably because you haven't got a massive population in Iceland, and you've got to spread out? Well, you've got quite a dense population in Reykjavik, but
capital area. It's kind of most of the people live here, right?
Yeah.
So you can see everywhere you go, they're acting like sensibly. People are keeping distance. They're cleaning their hands everywhere you go. Nobody's really using public transport, or people don't shake hands. People don't hug. People keep distance. And so I wonder what's going to happen when gyms open, because you see obviously we have a small country, so if you look at Facebook and somebody posts something, you will see, you can see from the comments kind of a broad view of what's going on in the society, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So just based on the internet and comments, there's kind of split into two groups, like people who are really going to be careful for probably around like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
The other group who's kind of just more like, let's get this over with. Just give me the bloody virus. I'll take it. I'll get better, and then I can just go on with my normal life, right?
Yeah.
There'll be a raft of blue belts that just leave
They were looking for an excuse to give up, and
they're happy.
The perfect one.
Obviously, like I think about 75% of our income comes from tourism, so it's been a huge hit for the country. So there's two groups: people who really just want to go on with their normal lives, and then the people who are more like conservative. So I imagine what happens when gyms start opening, and especially with jiu-jitsu, such a close contact sport.
Yeah,
we were kind of saying, weren't we, Nick, that I think it's going to be the last port of call that people are allowed to go to, these kind of gyms.
Makes sense, right? It literally is. You can't get much closer to anyone, and when you've got people in a, because we thought maybe you'd be able to, we just have like much smaller classes or time slots where you could train like 45 minutes, an hour, and there's 5 people maybe or something like that, and you stick with those 5 for a period of time, so you're at least containing it within a smaller group of people, like whatever it is, but you've not had to start and go, right, classes are normal and then 40 people turn up, that's probably not going to happen. So there's going to be some restructuring, I think, of what it even looks like, probably. Until there's clarification on what it could look like, I don't think anything's going to happen at all for us. But at some point, surely it's, you can't, because it's also, people run these as businesses, and, it's people's livelihoods, and, the government over here are, there's been grants and they're supporting, in certain other ways for income, but that can't go on forever. Yeah. So, there's a lot depending on all these smaller facilities, and, I don't know what it's going to look like. I know it will be different. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh man.
It will be interesting though, but I mean, I think everyone, especially with jiu-jitsu, like, everyone that does jiu-jitsu loves it. Yeah, so it's very hard for everyone to not be training, and, you get yourself into good habits and good routines and all that stuff. The only thing that has been better, I've been eating really well, and I've been running, and I've been doing more like strength and conditioning training than I ever have before.
Yeah, that's good.
You got to keep doing something, and then I just know when I go back to jiu-jitsu, you've got to just take it calmly and not go absolutely crazy.
That's going to be the hard bit, isn't it?
Yeah, and then injure my back again or something, do something, like straight away.
Yeah,
I think as well, like this must have been a welcoming break for a lot of people. Like, I can only speak for myself, obviously, but I didn't mind it too much. I think I've been doing this like 10 years now, every day, 2 times a day.
Yeah.
And I was getting kind of, what's the word? Kind of burnt out.
Yeah.
So I take it as a welcoming break, kind of reset my mind, and now I've never been as excited to go to training. Right?
Yeah. Do you know what?
The case with a lot of people.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same. I've really actually quite enjoyed the break and the time off, and being at home, and managing to focus on some other aspects of my life rather than just work and training and jiu-jitsu. So it's been nice to have that time to recenter myself and get my mind right. So when I'm back training, I just can't wait. Like you said, I can't wait to get back training.
I think as well, like, because we've been doing this, like, this podcast will be like the 20th one or something that we've done since we've been in lockdown like this, and we've made so many more connections, and broadened our conversation on jiu-jitsu, and broadened our horizons for what we can do. I.e., there's people out there that will let us come and train with them. If we travel to, we spoke to Wim the other day, and Wim's like, yeah, come out and train with us. Like, yeah, we will, like we'll do a bit, we'll go and see people and do stuff that we wouldn't have done normally.
Yeah.
You get contained, don't you, in your life and your comfortable situation. And, it's great. You go to a Globetrotter camp, it's a week away and it's wonderful, but then you come back to, normal, and it's not, but like some more spread out, like long weekends, traveling, doing stuff. And, like Iceland, for example, is a bit more expensive to travel to, and that, so we might want to spend longer doing that Do you know what I mean? But we can plan things out, and so for me, it's actually like broadening the horizons of what I want to do as well with jiu-jitsu as well, and within it.
Yeah, you guys are always welcome here.
Oh,
well,
don't need to ask me twice. I love Iceland.
I would like to see the like your facility just looks ridiculous as well. Like, I know you're saying, oh, it's the biggest one in the world, but it just looked like it's somebody. You've got lots of members for like training as well as strength and conditioning and all that stuff. So it must be a lot of people coming through the doors.
Yeah, definitely. It's been kind of weird because we open up the kids' classes and it's not the same income of people anymore. It kind of feels empty.
Yeah.
It used to be just people walking through the hallways all day, constantly. Because we have a tight schedule around the whole day. We have around 2,700 members at the moment.
Wow.
So you just see people coming in and out the doors the whole day, and all of them still familiar faces because I'm in the gym the whole day.
Yeah.
And we kind of miss that vibe.
Yeah. It must be weird.
Yeah, it's a bit weird, but it's good seeing the kids again and being able to. Been weird though because we're not allowed to touch the kids or come in close contact with them.
Yeah.
But unless there's an emergency or someone gets injured or something.
Yeah.
And we have to wear protection gloves the whole day.
Yeah.
It gets really sweaty. And then we're running for the teenagers because only preschool children are allowed into the gym.
Yeah. Or
preschool or elementary or whatever. So kids above 15 to 18, they have to do outdoor training. So that also, so I'm running a strength and conditioning class with them outside every day.
Yeah.
And that's also been an experience, just kind of programming something else than jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah.
Experience, being able to kind of do that and have fun with that. And
it's good because you can probably take what you've learned there and push that into your classes when you go back to full-time training, which is, you know, a massive positive from this situation. I feel exactly the same.
Yeah, for sure. That's good. That's good that you can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's like lots of stuff. It's like whenever you're pushed into a situation that you wouldn't have chosen, like there always like opportunities and things will come out if you're being aware and proactive and trying to do stuff. So like, you know, it almost as for me, it's like kind of taking blinkers off of what's out there and, you know, what you can do. It's not just like, I love training where I train, but I'd also like to do some traveling around and going and seeing some other places. And, you know, that appeals to me a lot. And a lot of the time it's like, oh yeah, we're able to do a holiday with the family or something. But, you know, I'd like to do some other stuff that's for me and what I want to do as well. And it kind of it's a bit of a game changer when you discover these different ways of connecting with people and discussing things. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be different, but it's going to be exciting, I think, still the time after this.
Yes.
And I think there'll be all sorts of other stuff. Like there's going to be new things coming out that we don't know yet what it's going to look like. There'll be other stuff going on. So it should, you know, you've got to take the positives, I guess. It's rubbish not training, but like my body feels better. You know, do you know what I mean? There'll be lots of people. Hopefully, there'll be lots of people who were like, "Oh, I'm tired. I can't do jiu-jitsu." They'll come back. Hopefully, you know. I think most people like it. It'll be the excuse for some people to never come again. Like, but you know, because people will wait because they always need an excuse. So will that happen, and I can't be bothered anyway now. But hopefully, yeah. You know, you wouldn't see them anyway. So
exactly.
Hopefully, well, I think it will stay pretty stable. I'd like to think you know, the people that still you know do the sport and want to come and try it out, and hopefully other people will come and try as well.
I think so, and I think maybe this is a good opportunity for people who have had a bit of time off to come back because everyone is in the same boat. I think what puts people off coming back sometimes is the fact that everyone else has still been training. But if they've had that time off, it might spur them on to be like, this is a good opportunity to kind of get back in the mix and everyone's going to kind of be in the same boat.
It's never going to be easy to come back, is it? This is the easiest time to come back training when everyone's had a few months off. Like, at least sparring, because if you don't spar for like a week or 2 weeks, you're like, oh man, I'm feeling that.
Everyone's gonna be on the same page. Yeah, I think that's a good point, and especially with like people who really needed time off for like small injuries and stuff. I think it's a really good positive.
Yeah.
Your knees feeling better, Sam, innit?
Sorry?
Yeah, exactly.
Your knees feeling better.
So much better. Yeah, I've got such a bad knee, but it's actually feeling a lot better. It's getting better. I like everything. I just feel quite good at the moment. I was having a bit of back trouble before the lockdown as well, and that's just kind of cleared itself up. I feel good. Can't wait to get back to training, so it all comes back again.
You also feel this is the only time you can feel okay with taking time off the mat, because everyone else is doing it.
Yeah. Otherwise, you just feel so guilty.
Yeah, I get guilty. I go to training, I watch everyone roll, and I'm there, like sitting in the corner, and I'm frustrated. And not everyone's just taking time off, so it's fine.
Yeah, that's it.
That's why I feel like I've got to keep the cardio and stuff. Like, got to do that, because like I know there'll be people that are just getting on with that. No one knowing, they're going to come back and you'd be like, oh, what? Like, you look good, like, and you feel like, do you know what I mean? You're going to be like, oh. So I don't want to be that person coming back and be like,
You're always that person anyway, Nick. I don't know what you.
Yeah, I'm always just like that. So you're you in your nogi, when you're guard playing, are you a bit of a half guard, bit of butterfly, or is that's more your game?
Yeah, I enjoy the half guard the most. That's kind of my
man.
Yeah. Half guard, deep half, sec guard, everything that involves a little bit of entanglement. I hate close guard. It's mainly just half guard and then open guard.
Nice.
Yeah. Attack. Try to get the legs, get the back. Invert. I invert a lot, which has been confusing for a lot of like bigger guys.
Yeah, that's it.
Especially like I used to, and before I figured out how dairy was fucking me up so much, I was weighing in at 120 kilos. I was fighting in the like big boy leagues. I still kept my game, and I was inverting, and if you watch a big boy match, it's usually they're standing, they're pushing each other, and one of them falls down and he's like a turtle on his back, and then one that's on top, he wins. Always.
Yeah, that's always.
My first few titles just came from fighting in the bigger leagues and just pulling guard and just allowing the pressure to come on top, and then like being better on bottom because they don't know how to handle it.
It's so true.
Just like
that's my plan. That's my plan.
I like that.
Literally, is my exact plan.
Yes.
Is to go back, like pull guard or just sit down, and I'm fine there, and then we'll go from there. I've got a much better chance there than I have staying on my feet and wrestling.
Yeah, and you don't want to get a big throw by a big guy who ends up on top of you. Your whole
that'll be the end of it.
Blows out. My back will be broken.
Yeah. I want to be on the floor underneath to start with, so I'll just go there straight away.
Yeah.
Let's go from there. That's got to be, that's I'm with you. I'm with you. Did you see? Did you see Mikey Musumeci versus? And he's just trying to choke his face.
Oh God, that
from inside. Mikey's sort of open legs like this. Yeah. He's not doing anything. He's just like pressing down his head. It looked like his head was going to explode.
Yeah.
And you kind of look at these guys sometimes. I think like he's so big, so big. How can he even perform to some of the, most of the techniques? Like, was he short to start with, and now he's let himself go? Like, so he can do. Do you know what I mean? Or was he always been that size?
I'm pretty sure he's always been this big. And I think he kind of dominates the bigger leagues because he's bigger and stronger. Yeah. But then he gets Mikey, who's just a technician, and Mikey wins him. But he did beat Ali though, which was
that was sick. That was really amazing.
Yeah.
Ali's good, really good.
Ali's really good. Ali's athletic. Ali's strong.
Mm.
Ali's just kind of in the perfect like weight category, and
I mean, he's like 110 or something, probably to 100, something like that, and like not much body fat on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it is funny because we've got a few bigger guys at our gym, and I remember when Chris Monty fought. He won his category. I think it was IBJJF in London. It might have been the Winter Open, something like that. But one of the guys he fought who came third was like taller than him when he was on the podium in the first place. He weighed 156 kilos.
Yeah. That's massive.
That's like, I mean, what can you do? Like, this is what you're saying with the gi. Like, if you're on bottom and the guy's like just in, he's like, okay, if he takes you down even and gets on top and doesn't move, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
Like, you can't get out
unless you're Mikey Musumeci.
Yeah, exactly. But like to the normal human, you're kind of done if you can't move the guy.
Like a big priest on.
Yeah, exactly. There's got to be stuff. Yeah. Oh, it's super interesting. So there's just in the future, it's just competing for you, and then normal teaching and training.
We'll have to see where it goes. I'm kind of in between phases right now, where I'm thinking if I want to still focus so hard on competing, if I'm willing to put myself through that.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna see when things open up again, or if I'm kind of just gonna focus on working and training and teaching and bringing up the other guys.
Yeah.
There's one thing that has really been like bothering me over the couple of years, and I think it's a big like issue in the jiu-jitsu society, is the abuse of pets and performance-enhancing drugs.
Yeah, agreed.
And that's something that I'm not willing to do. Take that extra step and go there.
Yeah.
And it's something that I've been feeling since I've been going more and more into the kind of tougher divisions, and you see those guys who are just same skill level, but they have that slight advantage.
Yeah.
And I think, unfortunately, unless something changes, it's a huge issue with the jiu-jitsu society.
Agreed. It's a massive issue, and it's pretty obvious the people that are doing it as well.
Really obvious.
And no one's really denying it either. They're not admitting it.
No one's denying. Nobody cares.
No one cares.
And that's something that has been off-putting me a lot. If you watch the ADCC from last year, it's kind of just a steroid abuse competition, essentially.
Isn't it? It's so crazy.
So it's something that I've been like, unless you go 150%, you have to invest all your time. These guys are doing the same thing, but they're able to do it because they're abusing.
Yeah, This is it. Oh, Halldor, you've muted yourself.
Muted yourself.
It's something that
was that could have been it could have been Gordon Ryan meeting you from Andre Galval. Someone's
Speaking.
Yeah, I'm not gonna name any names, but I've had big matches against guys that I know have been using, and I know I'm technically better, but you can just feel the difference in. Even though I'm doing strength and conditioning every day or every other day, I still feel the massive difference in there. Obviously, it's a boost, right?
Margins are so small. Like when you're at your level and you're competing internationally, and and you're doing there's a lot of sacrifice, and it's a big part of what you're doing. You're traveling, you're away, you've got to train. There's a lot of it's income. There's all sorts of stuff, and when you're in that situation and you think this is bullshit because it's not a fair fight.
It's not.
Yeah, it's just.
So I mean, as a competitor in trying to break in through to those ranks of the higher echelons, do you feel pressure to potentially do that sort of stuff? Like,
of course, and I think it's something that like crosses every jiu-jitsu athlete's mind when they get to this level.
Yeah.
Are you gonna go there, or are you gonna, I'm not saying you can't do it naturally. Of course you can.
Yeah.
But I don't living in Iceland. I can't compete every weekend. I have to fly abroad, and we don't have the opportunity to train like 6 times a day or put everything into it, because competing for me is usually a loss in income. like, or I make it out even because I'm losing time of work, and I'm losing I'm sacrificing a lot for it. And you get there and you can just see, or feel the difference. So obviously, like, it's been on my mind, but it's something that I think I would never be able to do, because I'd rather be a role model for the kids I'm teaching,
and for yourself, right? How would you feel? I don't know, like I guess the people that do it mustn't care, but you must feel that it's slightly tainted, whatever you've won. If you've got like that ADCC gold and you've done it, do you feel like, that I've not only got it because of that, but that's helped me to get there? So there's a taint on it. There's like a black mark on that medal, or do they feel like, because everybody else is on the drugs, I had to do it.
I have to do it. Yeah, I think that's a huge issue, right?
Yeah. It's massive.
I don't know what the answer.
Competitors, like, there's a 1% difference maybe in the athletes, and exactly. that can be the 1%.
Yeah.
I don't know what the answer is for it. I know, I like, there's obviously not like huge sums of money in jiu-jitsu in general, like, and like, testing and stuff. So unless throughout IBJJF everything, they're going to test like all of the podium, or what are you going to do, like,
and how good's the testing, like, can they, because you can cheat the tests.
You can cheat the test fairly easily. And I think as well, if they start drug testing IBJJF, people just dodge IBJJF. They look for it.
That's why they won't do it. That's why IBJJF are not going to do it, because they need that's the money making.
They lose the main competitors, right?
Yeah, exactly.
If the big names aren't there, then
it's just shitty.
It is. It must be really frustrating and really like.
For sure.
Yeah, I think.
But obviously,
you've got the right mind, though. I think doing that sort of stuff, like we said, it kind of puts a taint on things, and you don't need that. I don't think. And like you said, like being a role model and being honest is more, and open is, more of a thing than just winning a title.
If you're going to go, you're going down. If you decide to sort of move away from the competitions, or do fewer competitions and go down the teaching more, will you be doing more like seminars and things around, and some sort of traveling, or are you just going to stay where you are and focus?
Yeah, for sure. I'd be interested. I had 4 seminars booked as well abroad in Scotland and the UK and stuff, and I love doing those. And it's also like I said, of course you could do it like naturally, of course. But I'm at that point where I'm kind of I could do it, but I have to invest all my time. I have to leave my other job. I'm going to lose a lot of income. Am I willing to do that?
Yeah.
Am I going to cheat? I never want to do that as well.
Yeah.
Or am I just going to be happy with where I am, who I am, and then just go and compete out of enjoyment, not to get that top peak level, right?
Yeah.
That's something that I've been pondering on a lot for the last year.
Right. So it's before the lockdown you've been thinking about this, have you?
Yeah, for sure. That's why I think this break was kind of well needed, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
As I really, really enjoy competing, and I really want, like, my dream and my goals have always to become the best version of myself and be able to kind of get to that top level in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's just, the more you see it, it's more and more like shady, and more people doing it. And
but I mean, surely that you can still be at that really top level competitor, but I mean, it might be harder to win, the gold, the ADCC, sure, the gold medals. But I mean, do you really need that? I mean, there are things now like, especially with this COVID crisis going on with BJJ fanatics, there's a lot of instructionals with a lot of different really great coaches that sometimes, you might just overlook. I'm sure that the guys like Andre Galvao and Gordon Ryan, they sell a lot more DVDs, or they because of that win of the gold, but there's still opportunity to make, money from being a really good jiu-jitsu guy.
For sure. I'm also just I'm super happy where I am and what I'm doing, and I like I said, I really enjoy competing, and there's a lot of like competitions that are maybe not the highest like profile in the world, but are still so enjoyable to go to, and you can make a name, and
yeah,
that's probably what I'll aim at. I'm of course gonna still do the trials, and I'm gonna try to get there. I'm gonna try to do it naturally, but we'll see where it takes me and see what I'll be willing to do. But I'm kind of at the point. I'm 25 now. I'm feeling kind of midlife crisis.
Midlife crisis at 25? Come on, man.
I mean, I want to kind of like settle down. I want to buy a house. I want to invest. I want to like everything that I've earned since I was 16 has gone into jiu-jitsu. And of course, it's all worth it. But am I willing to continue it until I'm 35 and then achieve like what?
Yeah.
But as long as I'm happy.
Question.
Yeah, but as long as I'm happy and I'm enjoying it, I'm glad I'm doing it. But
I think that's the main thing, isn't it?
Of course.
Enjoying
should always
it, and making sure that you still love it. Because when something becomes a job as well, you love it a little bit less. I think did Wim say that when we spoke to him?
Wim was like, we were talking to him about competing, and he was basically like, I don't like it. I do it because it's part of my job. Like basically, I love winning, and you know, and it's fun, but like the anxiety and stuff beforehand, and you know, this and that. And it's like for MMA fights, because it's like you had a lot of MMA fights back in the day. It's like for like 2 weeks before that, the anxiety is like, I was not looking forward to doing it.
Did Wim say that he still enjoys like teaching?
Yeah.
I think
I don't think he said it, but you can tell he definitely.
Oh, he just loves jiu-jitsu and everything that he's doing. I think like he looked like he was in the gym when we chatted to him, like doing his drills and whatever.
Yeah. I enjoy competing a lot more than I do teaching.
Yeah.
And I think the main reason for that is because competing is more rare than teaching to me. I don't know, if I would be living in America competing every weekend, probably I would have the same issue. But I really enjoy teaching, but it's still, at the time, it's been my job now for 10 years. And it's kind of become, I really enjoy it, but it's still, it's a job. I enjoy these rare opportunities of being able to travel and compete.
When anything is your job, if it's like we had that when we were talking to Callum again, he was saying this. He was, going to be an athlete, and they used to say to him, right, you need to have another sport that you do, because the thing that you love, like you're going to do for a job, becomes your job, and like you almost need something else as an outlet, as your passion, as well as that. So I guess you've got like the teaching side of jiu-jitsu is the kind of business, like that's your regular earning, and then the competition is like your passion for like what you love to do, and like expressing yourself within competitions. So there's kind of two sides to the jiu-jitsu coin, as it were, for like to make it viable for anyone to do like both ways, because you can go, I'll go and compete everywhere, but you need money to be able to do stuff, and like unless someone's immediately going to give you the money to travel and give you all your kit and food and all the rest of it, that's fine, but that never happens from day one. You got to do other stuff to supplement it, right? And get to that stage. But and you can do it all. You can do it all if you do it right, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. And I think also for myself, like I said before, I got another job in November, and it's something that I've been working like. So I work with like teenagers who multiple different cases of teenagers, but they live in our housing given to them by us, and we take care of them and provide them with, just help them with everyday life. Yeah. And it's something I've been working with handicapped people and stuff like that since I was 16 as well. And as soon as I got back to that, the jiu-jitsu teaching, the jiu-jitsu job became more of a holiday. I didn't feel like I was at work anymore. Yeah. So when I was only doing jiu-jitsu, it was kind of a drag to go down to the gym and teach. Now I'm going to teach at Thor. I'm super excited.
Yeah.
Just got off my other job.
Yeah.
I'm feeling like
Change
I
as a
feel a little
wrestler.
bit hungry. Yeah, just to change the mindset. Right?
Don't realize what like sometimes like you can lose passion for things, can't you? And then if it becomes monotonous and you're doing the same thing over and over, you need a bit of variety, I think, and then to like rekindle like the fire for it sometimes. So like this lockdown seems to have been like kind of come at a good time for you. Getting your mind straight and what you want to do and go forward and planning and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I can't complain. Obviously, it's not ideal, but I'm just taking it as it is and for what it is, and I'm gonna make the best out of it.
Exactly. I think that's all we can
do. All you can do, make the best out of the situation, and at least try and like use it for a positive impact on whatever you're going to be doing later down the line, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So Halldor, I think you've got a class coming up at 4:00, so we'll wrap it up and let you get on and teach your class. But thank you so much for coming on. It's been absolutely.
Thank you guys for having me. And as I said, if you ever want to come down,
man, I'm booking my ticket.
Yeah, always welcome. Go to the swimming pools and hit the pub. And
sounds awesome. Man.
And anyone who's listening, if you want to come down and train, everyone's welcome.
Awesome.
Yeah, we'll put. I've got on the website. We'll put up your guest profile. Put all your links for your Instagram and for your gym and all the stuff on there as well. And if there's anything like I'll send you the link. If there's anything that you want to add or anything, just let me know, and I'll get it all up there. So anyone can go on there, listen to this, and contact Halldor or his gym, anything you want, and connect. So hopefully people will do some interaction and see where we go. And
where can they find you on social medias?
Yeah, just Instagram at Halldor Logi V.
Good man. Awesome.
It's been a pleasure, guys. It's been really nice talking to you guys, and I hope
you too.
Hope things stay good, and hopefully we'll be training soon.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Halldor.
Thank you, Halldor.
Good to see you guys.